200 channels to keep me in touch. Got a beautiful wife and 3 doughy kids. A couple big secrets that I kill to keep hid. I don't know God, but I fear His wrath. I'm trying to stay focused on the righteous path. I got a couple of opinions that I hold dear. Got a whole lot of debt and a whole lot of fear. Got an itch that needs scratching, but it feels alright. Got the need to blow it out on a Saturday night. Got a grill out in the backyard and a case of beers. The boat that ain't seen water in years. More bills than money, I can do the math. I'm trying to stay focused on the righteous path. Try to keep focused as I drive down the road, on the ditches and the curves and the heavy load. I ain't bitching about things that aren't in my grasp. Just trying to hold steady on the righteous path. Now there's this friend of mine, I've known him all my life. Can't get it right no matter how hard he tries. He got kids he don't see, several ex-wives, a list of bad decisions about 8 miles wide. Trouble with the law and the IRS, and where they get the money's anybody's guess. Now he's a long way off, but if he was to ask, he said he's trying to stay on the righteous path. We're trying to keep focused as we drive down the road, like we did back in high school before the world turned cold. Now the brakes are thin and the curves are fast. Just trying to hold steady on the righteous path. And we're hanging out, we're hanging on, trying the best we can to keep on keeping on. Got messed up minds for these messed up times, and it's a thin, thin line separating his from mine. And we're trying to hold steady on the righteous path, 80 miles an hour with the worn-out map. No time for self-pity or self-righteous crap. Just trying to hold steady on the righteous path.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of It Might Get Personal. I'm David McCreath. Our guest today is Jesse Atkinson, and he sang
Righteous Path by the Drive-By Truckers.
And so tell us about that song. Why that song?
It's meant a lot to me because of, simply put, it's in plain speak about how precious each person's path in life is. The first 2 verses where he's talking about himself very much describe his own very plain, content, like almost like American Dream style. Everything's not amazing, everything's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then he describes his friend who also has a life that's not, the friend he describes in the second verse is not, it's not abysmal, it's not a total train wreck, but it's obviously not the ideal life. Right. And the key line I think that really hooks this song for me is in the bridge. He says, he's talking about his friend and him, and he says it's a thin, thin line separating his from mine. And I don't know, that really stands out to me. That really means like it's something I never want to forget.
Yeah. So does the phrase righteous path have any specific meaning for you? Like,
yeah, so it's
what's righteous? Yeah,
exactly. It's a tricky thing because I was not to get too personal, but it might get personal. I was born and raised very religious, mm-hmm. and I am not at all now. And weaving, growing up in that culture and that world, and then leaving it. while many might think that, especially those that are in that world that are, born again Christians still, it was always sold as it was leaving the faith, so to speak. It was fun. Was like yippee, like I get to go be a like wicked person or something now. And, it was like fun. It was like giving in. It was like the easy thing to do.
Right.
And for me, it was the opposite. It was like a matter of, for me, it was a matter of personal integrity and being like, this is, I'm not this person anymore, and I need to acknowledge that. So I understand that, he in the first verse he definitely says, I don't know God, but I fear His wrath, and he's trying to stay on the righteous path. So, I can't speak to what the original songwriter's intent was there. For me, I can sing that very comfortably without having a belief in God, because it's. I don't care who you are or how you were raised or whatever. Everybody wrestles with, at some point or another, with this idea of living up to somebody's expectations,
right.
Whether that's a parent or your own personal expectations or God's expectations, and having that fear of disappointing somebody and letting somebody down and
missing the mark.
Yes, yeah, totally. And so he says, I don't know God, but I fear His wrath. I think that I don't think you have to be a religious person to necessarily relate with the sentiment of that line. And so while I don't have faith in God, I definitely, I every day wake up and I'm like, how the hell do I have any money in my bank account? How am I still employed?
Yeah.
Why hasn't my wife left me? When is everybody gonna find out that I'm this total, fuck up and fake and all this stuff? And and I think that's a kind of exactly. No, I think that's a common. It's silly and I'm being extreme, but I think that's a common thing. And not to get I don't know your personal opinion on John Mellencamp. I really like his song Pink Houses, and this song really, really reminds me of if there was a spiritual sequel to Pink Houses, it would be this song.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's just this very middle, and it's by the Drive-By Truckers who are from Alabama. And I was born and raised in Detroit, but I have a lot of really good friends from it. Long roundabout story. I have ties in Alabama.
Okay.
And I've always had a fascination with the South. And so, I'm 28 years old. When I got into music, I was into, I got into Radiohead and to Smashing Pumpkins, and later I got into, Sunny Day Real Estate emo and all this stuff. And the lyrics are all very obtuse and poetic.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and extrapolate a meaning out of it. And, and everybody can pick their own sort of choose your own adventure thing. And, and I've always really liked hip hop, and something I've always been very, very envious of hip hop is that it kind of gets away with stuff that, your standard rock and country, especially rock, can't get away with,
like what?
There are rap songs now that talk about Instagram, and it would sound so bizarre to hear. I mean, maybe somebody's done it, but it would sound so bizarre to hear a Radiohead song where he's Tommy York is thinking about Instagram, or it would just pull you totally out of this song. But hip hop gets away with talking about very, very modern things, very plain things, and it's the only singer-songwriter type of music kind of get away with that is country,
right? And
not having grown up loving and being involved with country, it was something I discovered later in my life, through Ryan Adams and Wilco and Drive-By Truckers. I was really, really, really attracted to the fact that I could listen to the songs and they were singing about things that they were singing about being in bars and, driving a car or
things that you do.
Yeah, I the song would paint a very visceral picture in my head, and not that there's not good or bad, but it was something I discovered, and I really fell in love with it. It felt like cheating. I was like, wait, I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know you could. Wait, I thought I had to write these very obtuse lyrics about things that meant nothing but everything at the same time. And that song I love that he gets away with telling this totally it just feels like he's getting away with murder. He's just telling this. There's not. there's not anything that's hard to understand at all about
Right.
the song. There's not any lyric that's really too open for interpretation.
Right. Yeah. It's very straightforward, and then the music is the same way. There's
Yes.
it's like 4 chords.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
4 chords, just sort of played in repetition, and like we were talking about, there's kind of a drone to it, which goes with this very simple "I'm staying on the path," and it's just sort of it's a little bit marchy.
Totally.
It's a little bit just sort of walking forward, getting it done.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's and country and John Cougar, Mellencamp. I'm old enough that I have to remember to add the Mellencamp. For me, he was just John Cougar.
Yeah,
and it was weird. Okay, I like that, and I like this idea that there's a righteous path, whether you're necessarily a religious person or not, because there is, and and we're looking at that stuff a lot right now in the city, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
What's the right thing to do? Who's being treated badly? Who's
I was wondering
doing
if I should even go there with it. But it totally like means that to me too. Is like looking at where I I'm from Detroit. Like I said, I'm living in San Francisco now. I'm a web developer doing something that like if you would have told me even at 22 that like it was just like made up. It was like like I look back at my life and at 22 it was a thin I mean cheesy, it was a thin line between me being just doing a very menial, unsatisfying low wages, no growth, all the above type job, or becoming on a career path and becoming a web developer and software engineer, which I do now. And I look back and I'm like, it is and I don't mean to at all insinuate that one is better than the other, but when you want one, I wanted this career, and for a while, I really didn't know how to get it. I didn't have any connections. I didn't, felt like you had to know somebody. And, like looking back, it was like, wait a minute, like I could literally be just doing a very menial, unsatisfying, very unhappy job, living, 1 mile within the radius of where I grew up, and just, and ultimately, again, and I'm not saying anything negative about that as a whole, but I'm saying something negative about it for me. That was not the right path for me.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it is a ridiculously thin line, and to get on that, like, it's just, I don't think people often take the time to look back and see how privileged they were and how blessed they were, and really, it reminds me of like the last election when it's like I built that, and like it's like I don't even mean to go there, but it's just like, come on, like if you can't stop for 1 second and recognize the fact that yes, you did build this thing, but you wouldn't have had the tools and the availability and like all this like amazing shit that helped you build that thing. It was set up by tons of people, and luck. Like there's just some pure luck in there. So yeah, the song is a lot about like just like waking up in the morning and like taking a second to recognize that like, yes, you have worked hard to get where you are. Yes, you've done all these wonderful things, and like don't discredit your own accomplishments, but at the same time, don't for 1 second think that you have like earned this over the next guy on the street. Maybe your luck just was better. Maybe you just got lucky enough to be born in a certain situation and blah blah blah.
Yeah. And don't take it for granted.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. That seems like that's a really solid place to end. So, all right, the song was Righteous Path by the Drive-By Truckers.
Yes.
This is Jesse Atkinson. I'm David McCreath, and we will see you next time.